Welcome everyone back to Mr. Dar Weather Update. In today's video we're going to have a look at the live observations from the net weather during the nowcast. We'll look at the central temperature mean from the Met Office, and we'll look at the extended ecmwf European outlook for the next couple of days. So we'll do that in a minute for you. I'm so sorry I've not been uploading for quite a bit of time. Well, for yesterday. I was a bit tired, so unfortunately I couldn't really upload like that in that state. So you know, it may happen quite a few times, unfortunately, but we're back for now, and we'll do the normal forecasting later today. But we'll do the ecmwf European outlook for today. Anyway, let's have a look at live observations. So you can see here, this is going to be quite a warm day for the southeast, but quite a cooler day in the northwest. You can see as we go further up northwest, the temperatures get a lot cooler as we go along. And you can see there, in the Highlands, we are in the low to mid-teens widely, and some areas are in the single digits. You can see 6.6 degrees in Anakmore, 8 degrees, this is going to respond. Oh, wait, 8 degrees in Cairngorm Summit. So quite cool, very cold there actually, in Scotland, due to them obviously being near the Atlantic weather systems. Quite an unsettled start for the past couple of days. Let's go further south, 17 degrees, that's quite warm actually, in Dundee, so a little bit warmer there. Still around 17 degrees there. Northwestern England, we're about the mid to high teens, so 18 degrees in Leeds, nearly 20 Celsius in Liverpool, that's Merseyside, isn't it? Further east, we are now in the 20s, so quite warm actually, quite warm morning, if anything, a bit uncomfortable, if I'm being completely honest. 22.1 in Cranwell, 22.3, 21 degrees, 23 Celsius is turning up, so a little bit hotter, warmer than expected, so it's rising quite quickly actually. We're expecting the hottest temperature to be around this area, between London and Cambridgeshire. We're going to see 35 degrees once again. This point is the 7th or 8th time seeing 35 Celsius, really. It's been quite ridiculous how many times we've seen it. I mean, this summer, it's been ridiculous how many times we've seen it. If I'm being completely honest, quite unusual to see 35 degrees so many times, but it is being a lot more common these days. But yeah, 23 Celsius is the highest we've seen throughout today. That's going to rise up to 35 Celsius as we get in throughout the day. If we have a look at the humidity... Oh, is this going to let me respond? There we go. If you look at the humidity levels, it's a little bit uncomfortable in some areas, if I'm being completely honest. Obviously, it's going to be higher in the northwest because we're closer to rain. Obviously, it's going to be 100% relative humidity. It's sort of decrease as you go east, but very uncomfortable really. 82% there. Even where we've got the highest temperature, 23 Celsius, 70% humidity. That's awful. That's not very nice really. It's not very. It's quite a. That's a bit of a humid feel, if I'm being completely honest. Not very pleasant. Not very dry, I'd say. But yeah, quite high. I think the lowest we've seen daily is the far southeast, really, and it's evident in this model here. About 54% humidity in Dover. So that's the lowest we've seen really in total. It's been quite uncomfortable, and that obviously results in some fairly high dew points really. 17 degrees is the highest dew point we've seen, but we're mostly in the mid-teens, a bit above the dew point range, for being honest. And then as we go over to Northern England, it's a bit more comfortable, 14 to 15 degrees, and that's in that sort of weather. And as we go further north, obviously it's a lot fresher really. It's a lot better there. Air pressure, obviously pressure will be lower in the northwest, so 10,009 millibars, that's a lower than average pressure. And obviously as we go further south, that's going to steadily increase, so that's 10,010 in Edinburgh, 10-12 in Northern England, 10-13 in Yorkshire, 10-15. So it's not very high pressure really, more of a plume of warm air. So it's, you know, not going to be that settled. But more settled in the southeast as always. So 10-15, perhaps even 10-16 millibars. Wind gusts very, very inactive today, and that's the same with the wind speeds. Weather icons, mostly cloudy to sunny in most of areas. It's going to be like this for most areas. Cloudy in the north, sunnier in the southeast. That's what we are looking for as a trend. Right. Central temps from the Metaphys is showing for July 19.5. That is 3.5 degrees above the 61 to 9 average provisional to 27th of July. And I think it's going to finish up after this heat wave, probably like 9.7 or something. Somewhere between 9.5 and 20 degrees. So very, very hot. Very, very, very above average. It really is. I mean, another quite, it's a trend really. How hot it's been, like, it's been above average for most of these months. I don't know when the last time we've seen a below average month. Really don't know. Okay, finally looking at 2 meter temps on the ecmwf. You can see here. Let's have a look. So 2 meter temps were. Is this going to let me screenshot it? There we go. Showing below average temperatures in the northwest. So we're probably going to be around 3 to 4 degrees above, 2 to 3 degrees below the average line in the northwest. And as we go further southeast, we're about 2 to 3 degrees above average. So very above average. The time of year, that's between the 3rd and the 10th. 10th and 17th, it's getting back to above average again, even in Scotland, actually. On average, we're around 1 to 2 degrees above average in Scotland. Perhaps 2 to 3 degrees above average in England and Wales. Perhaps even more. And I can see the continent, it's getting well above average. So we'll have to see what happens there. Could that mean another heat wave? That's going to move up there? I'm going to put a question mark. We'll have to see. And then obviously 17th to 24th, a little bit more towards the average line. North western Scotland is around average for time of year. England, 1 to 2 degrees above average, but not as above average as we've seen throughout the summer, really. 24th to 31, a bit of a weak signal, but still around average for Scotland. And then 1 to just about a degree or 2 above average in Scotland and Iceland. In England. September, this is now moving to September now. Most of England is 1 to 2 degrees above average. So still, it's a general trend, really. We're not going to see there's no way we're going to see a below average month, unfortunately. If anyone's looking for that, very unlikely to see. I'm going to see that. Right, this is the August 2026. This is the most likely 2 meter temperatures, and as you can see, for the rest of August, we're above average. We are around 60 to 70, perhaps even 80% above the at 2 meter temperatures, basically. Above that average, but it's going to be a below average in the Atlantic, so it could be a bit cooler there. Okay, so let's have a look at the mean sea level pressure anomalies. This is showing you the mean sea level pressure in the Atlantic for the next couple of weeks. So, sorry about that. This is the 3rd to the 10th. Okay, is that right? I think that's correct. Yeah, it is. This is the mean. This is basically like the pressure that is there. And it does look good, doesn't it, if you want to see rain. But let's have a look. We've got high pressure firmly in control in England. We've got low pressure out to the Atlantic. That could try to make an influence, actually. It could bring a southwesterly to westerly flow. Could be a bit unstable at times, especially in Europe, because there's more low pressure patterns there. Some high pressures there, a bit of an overblocking there. Could see a bit of a changeable feel, but it's not going to be a complete washout. But obviously that's low pressure. If that does interact with it, that's what we're going to see. The 10th to the 17th, unfortunately, this is not good news for anyone who wants to see rain. A big area, quite a big area of high pressure firmly in control in England, with perhaps a thundery trough in France that could move up at times. We'll have to see. We have actually got low pressure to Greenland, and probably here as well. Could that try and break through? Probably not. Looks quite dominant. It's quite dominant. We'll have to see. But it looks mostly settled for that week. 10th, 17th and 24th. A little bit... a bit more, let's say, of a weaker signal. There's high pressure to the Atlantic, so a bit of a ridging going on, blocking any Atlantic systems. Could be low pressure system coming in from the north, probably bringing a northerly wind. So it could be settled with some showers, perhaps a bit cooler at times. Hence why it's at a little bit more towards the average. A bit more of a northerly flow going on there. 24th to the 31st. Again, we've got high pressure to the north between Scotland and Iceland. High pressure to the Atlantic. And then a high pressure again to the south with a bit of a trough forming. So it could be a bit showery at times, being a northeast. I think that's a northeasterly airflow. But if that high pressure does become more dominant, we could have a southwesterly airflow. So it could be a bit confusing there. We'll have to see what happens. And then finally, 31st to the 7th. Oops, let me just do that again. 31st to the 7th, we've got high pressure firmly controlling the continent. And perhaps even some low pressure into the Atlantic. A bit of a weak signal, really. That could bring a westerly flow. A bit of a weak signal, but it could try to do it. Could be a bit more unsettled in the final week of August. With perhaps the Atlantic gaining some strength. Maybe, but not a great signal, for being honest. Right, 3rd to the 10th of August. We can see here we've got higher than average pressure to the England. We've got lower than average pressure. So this is special pressure up to the anomalies. So we can see that this low pressure could move into England, bring us in a westerly flow, a bit of a changeable flow at times as well, especially in northwestern England. But probably will stay settled in the southeast though. But a weak signal for low pressure, but if that would happen, then obviously that being not supposed to wait. There we go. Okay, so now we've got the 10th and 17th. Like I said, this could be quite a settled week. High pressure firmly in control. So higher than average pressure at 500 hectopascals, basically. That's what that means. Yeah, that's what it is like. But yeah, that's what it means. So high average pressure to England. And that's also to the continent. Could that try again? Bring a bit of southerly, southwesterly airflow, or southeasterly airflow even. Bring another heat wave. We'll see. It's a bit of a long way off. But if we did have this pattern, then obviously it would be likely for that to happen, really. So we'll have to see what happens there. And then obviously this is the 17th to 24th. We've got, again, high pressure ridging in the Atlantic. High pressure to the continent. Could be a little bit of low pressure influence going on there, maybe from the southwest, but could be a bit blocked in this week. 24th to the 31st. High pressure does start to break down in the Atlantic just a little bit, so it could try to get some low pressure from here, maybe. We'll have to see. And then we've still got high pressure to the continent. Maybe could that be low pressure? Could that be a bit of a trough forming? We'll have to see. Yeah, it is guesswork, unfortunately, with these things. And then finally, oops, we're going the right way. 31st to the 7th of September, we've got high pressure to the northeast. That could mean that we could see a bit of low pressure influence going on here. Could be a bit more settled for the last week of August to early September. So we'll have to see. So yeah, it does look like it could be a bit more settled for end of September, but that would be the end of summer, wouldn't it? So obviously that would make sense, wouldn't it? 3rd of August to the 10th, we've got this is precipitation mean anomalies for the next couple of weeks. And you can see, let's have a look. Sorry about that. You can see we are wetter than average in the Atlantic. That could be a low pressure system going on there, moving in. And it looks like in this portion here of England, could be a bit wetter than average. But in the southeastern corners, we are drier than average. That could be where high pressure would be. So that means that low pressure would be influenced the northwest a little bit more. High pressure would be influenced the southeast a bit more. So that's probably what that's the trend we're seeing, really. The 17th looks a little bit drier than average, if I'm being honest. This could be high pressure, could be to the south, and we've got drier than average in the southwest this time. More average in England, perhaps a bit above. In the northeast, a bit above average at times. That could be a bit more of a high pressure going on there. That's probably what it means, unfortunately. Excuse me. 17th to the 24th. A little bit better signal for precipitation, I guess. This could mean that low pressure could be around here. Could bring a bit of wetter than average in some areas of England, but nothing like that much, really. So a bit wetter than average there. A bit of a weak signal, if I'm being honest. I'm not too sure about this area, but looks a little bit above average in some areas. We have got a few green spots, but a bit of less confidence, let's say. We'll have to see how that develops throughout the weeks. And perhaps a bit drier than average. Perhaps high pressure sitting around here at times. And then finally, doesn't really matter really, 31st to the 7th of September. It does look a little bit better, really, for precipitation signals, really. I think it will be a little bit more settled in the first week of September, but besides that, we've got low pressure to the southwest, probably. That's going to probably move in. That's going to be everywhere, really. And that's going to bring some wetter than average conditions, at least to the northwest, but that's a good signal, really, because that's quite confident. So it could be a bit wetter than average into the last week of summer, basically. But that summer's over after that, so definitely, you know, that's how it's looking like. So yeah, August is definitely looking like quite obviously a warmer than average month with some unsettled spells at times. Perhaps station would be a bit below average, though, if I'm being completely honest. But we'll have to see how that, other than the northwest. But yeah, we'll see how that develops. I'll look at it next week I'll look at it on Monday. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.